real broad. She keeps you guessing.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Angela, middle initial K, last name Durden, and this is The Constrained View. As you all know from the poster behind me, I'm also a publisher at Blue Room Books. So let me tell you a quick story. Jeff Clark of, Stomp and Stammer. It's a music type publication here in Atlanta for many, many years. Contacted me and said I needed to talk to this young man here. And this young man is Zachary Staehling, but we all call him Z. Isn't that right, Z?
Yes, ma'am. That's the score.
That's the score. Well, Z, I'm just going to bump through how it is I came to be able to read the content of your book, which is called Full Past Noise, and there's more to the title. I'll read it later.
Of course.
But Jeff calls. He says you need to see it. I said, well, have him send it to me. He says, now listen. Now you'll like this, Z. He said, now, Angela, it's got cuss words in it.
Yeah.
And I said, you say that like I've never heard a cuss word before, Jeff. So he sent me your manuscript, and I've told you this before. I could not put it down. I was blown away, which is why I said, please, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, let me publish the book. And I did. And let's see, I'm going to turn to the front of it here, and it's Full Past Noise, or an escapist odyssey for search of American balsam. Yeah. Now, I'm going to just briefly tell you what's on the back matter of the book. It says, a modern fairy tale, filling the shoes of John Kennedy Toole, A Confederacy of Dunces, which is another book I just couldn't put down, and American libertarian political satirist and journalist P.J. O'Rourke, comes one Z. Staehling in Full Past Noise, an escapist odyssey for search of American balsam, his debut novel and modern fairy tale. The story follows four boys in a rock and roll band they name That Old Time Religion, who have recorded an album. The next thing that must be done is to set out on their first ever tour of the United States. During the tour, they meet characters embodying the best and worst of society. Luminous and dazzling, character and scene setting detail, coupled with the use of language that takes no prisoners, the story unfolds with controlled abandon. Now, Z, I still love this book. There's some books you read and you think, oh, this is great, and then you think, no. But I really like it. But since this book, you've done a lot of things. I know you graduated college, didn't you?
Allegedly, yeah. I've got the diploma. I haven't hung it up yet, so it's not official, I guess. But I graduated.
Once you hang it up, is it considered official?
That's what like all the doctors and the psychiatrists tell me. So
is that what it is? Is that what it is?
I think so.
And is it journalism degree or what?
Oh God, it's a mouthful, just like the subtitle of the book. It's a cinema media arts production, CMAP, with a focus in entertainment industries. But it's all just I tell people whatever it is that sounds best. Like it's kind of like a blanket degree, where if I'm talking to someone and I want to write for them, I'm like, it's a journalism degree. If I'm talking to like a film person, I'm like, oh, it's a film degree. So I can just kind of lie my way into anything with this degree. It's beautiful.
Well, yeah, but it's also, I would say, drilling down to individual pieces of the whole picture and highlighting it. Yep. That's what I would think it is.
That's the better way to say it. Yep.
Yeah. Now, for the purposes of those who are watching the video, in the show notes, I will have linked his YouTube channel called The Copacetic Cowboy, where he went. Where'd you go? Russia?
Yeah, I hitchhiked all through Europe, the Middle East, and a little bit of Africa, and there will be more coming, but I got some equipment stolen when I was in Sweden, and I just now replaced it. So there's more coming, but right now all that's out is the Russian series, in Russia.
Okay, well, there's 4 videos, and I've watched them all, by the way. And I really enjoyed it, and I could tell that your visuals on the screen, to me, I could see why you chose them, because in the book Full Past Noise, I mean,
Oh
it
yeah.
is a visual book,
Mm,
very visual. So I could see that you've got this thing in your head that works in pictures, you
yeah.
know,
I
and
think that's
scene setting.
yeah, I think that's undiagnosed autism, but yeah, scene setting is good
Well,
too.
listen, I'm autistic too,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's why I totally got what you did, because great minds and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So what have you got coming up? What's going on?
Oof. Unfortunately, I've been told I was funny my entire life, so I'm doing stand-up comedy now. I live in Hollywood. I moved. I came home from Europe and then just laid low for the holidays, and then in early March, I drove the car from Atlanta out to Hollywood. I've been here 3 weeks, and I've written some material for stand-up. I'm going and doing the open mics starting next week, and hopefully that works out. And I'm gonna be hitting the vlogs pretty hard as well, and then also
Hmm.
making like playing the stupid like social media game where like making TikToks and skits and stuff. I'm just trying to do all that. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
yeah. Well, they got all those things that they now call shorts,
Yeah.
that can be monetized quite easily on
Mm,
YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. And a lot of people are doing these kinds of things to get their work out there. They're
mm,
writing, they're filming, they're editing, whatever, and they're short.
mm.
Some are 30 seconds, some are 2 minutes. There's some that are a little longer, but I don't think you'd call those shorts. So, but it's a new media environment
Yeah.
completely. From when I was a kid and even growing up until, let's see, about 10 years ago, it's changing every day of how you can use it, get involved in it, and make some money from it. Thoughts?
Yeah, I personally, I know this sounds very like solipsistic of me, but I feel like I'm definitely like riding the crest of a wave here where obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, there's a new administration, and I feel like that's affected the culture a little bit. I actually, even though I've been put in a little bit of a box, I'm not too political. I just like to, skewer everything. And,
Well,
but one,
isn't that something though that makes isn't that what comedians and writers and uh, uh, are supposed to do, is to be able to skewer everything or point out something about everything without, it
yeah,
doesn't matter if it needs skewering, it needs skewering,
I
right?
think so. Yeah, I think so. I think nowadays there was this boom of comedy for lack of a better word of the last like 4 to 6 years. That was more just people like preaching nonsense to you, and it wasn't actually funny. And now I think there's been a callback to people actually want to hear some controversial stuff, and they kind of want to feel a little uneasy. And I think that's actually pretty progressive in its own right. So I
Mm-hmm.
hope I'm riding a crest because my stuff is very at times it's pretty shocking and controversial and kind of
Mm-hmm.
sometimes bad. But I think if it's done right, then it's good. If it's not done right, then it's distasteful. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you're going to go your own way on this, and that you're not going to be copying the style of anyone. But who are some of the comedians that you do like?
hmm number one is the guy who not too many people know. His name's Rory Scovel, and he's almost like the Grateful Dead of comedians. Where he's new, he's like basically new as in like last my lifetime, and he loves just to go up there and improvise. Where he'll do, and he loves Atlanta too. He's from like South Carolina, and there's this one special he has where he did 5 nights, an hour each in this old venue in Atlanta, and he improvised all of it. So I like the sort of like improvisational aspect of him, and it's also kind of silly and a little bit absurd, which I like, and also has this like slight southern tinge to it. But a second one would be like who I think's up there with the greats would be Louis C.K. because he's just funny, and he also says some. He's not afraid to say anything, especially now
Mm-hmm.
that he's like post cancellation. He's selling out MSG, and he can just do whatever he wants. So those are
Mm-hmm.
definitely the top two for me.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Well, I hope you get to work with them.
Yeah.
and meet them, and that sort of thing. Of course, you may have already done so, but anytime you want to try out something,
Hmm.
you're feel free to come back on the podcast and say, hey, I'm gonna try this out on you, and we'll shoot it out to my various places to see what they got. But
Yeah.
or if you put something on your YouTube channel, do you just have just the one YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm gonna open that ideally into almost like a media conglomerate where I post the skits there and the music there and
Well,
everything.
look, you just let me know. Even though I have notification bell to ring, I don't always see or hear these things.
Sure.
Say, Angela, shoot this out, and I'll be happy to do it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because I know it's one thing to share something; it's another on your own podcast.
Hmm.
How to do
Sure.
stuff. But the thing is that I want to keep an eye on that, and I want to help you along in what you got to do. Because if it's anything like this book, Full
Yeah.
Cast Noise,
Hmm.
oh my God, I would be the one, you know, la- laughing up snot bubbles in the audience, and going, I understand this.
Uh-huh.
So, any particular topics, or just all of them, or
For
what you find absurd, or what?
for the stand-up comedy, right now it's just whenever I come up with something, I try to categorize and see, okay, is this a 2 minute bit, is it 3, is it 5, is it 10? I've got 2 strong 10-minute bits. One is just on bestiality, which is like for some reason a reoccurring theme of mine, which I never realized until someone pointed it out to me. So I got 10 minutes on bestiality. I've got some gross stuff. I also try to do clean. Like I've got a good 5 minutes on snorkeling, which I can make it clean if I need to. It's just I'm kind of throwing everything at the dartboard right now because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still developing my style. But I would like to be the type of person who could do straight up comedy, could do something more like avant garde and absurd, and then also do clean and dirty. Right now. I would say the topics definitely range. They're
Mm-hmm.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm. So you're from Atlanta originally, correct?
Yeah, Swanee, Georgia. A few.
Swanee, yeah,
Yeah.
Swanee,
Hmm.
yeah. And so you've only been out in Hollywood a month?
3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, 3 weeks.
3 weeks yesterday. Yeah, yeah. It's a interesting place.
Yeah. Well, Tom, the other editor that helped me with your book, he
Hmm.
keeps asking about you, and I keep telling him, well, I know everything I know is that update. Here's what it is, and but because you're all over the place all the time, I can't always keep up with you.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'll be happy for him to be able to watch this video because then he can have heard it from the horse's mouth, as
Yeah.
they say. Do you
Hmm.
have any other books in mind that you're working on, or are you just gonna be doing some other types of writing?
Yeah. I mean, I like to. The reason I wrote a book is because I'm super cheap, and I wanted to be able to like writing's free, which is one thing I love. It doesn't cost me anything. So I got these are all just stepping stones. Like I've written other things, but I'm kind of just sitting on those. I don't know how much well, at least for right now, my focus is supremely on the ultimate goal, which is to write and direct films. And I think the quickest avenue to get in there is weirdly enough stand-up comedy, because I think if you kill a couple of crowds and someone likes you, then a bigger comedian takes you on tour with them or something like that,
Uh-huh.
and then you get an agent from there, and then I'm like, hey, I'm actually just wanting to write more, and then they're like, okay, well, let's get you in a writer's room on a TV show, and then hey, 6 years later or something, I've got a movie. That's the goal, is to write and direct, be a filmmaker. And I'm just trying different throwing it. I like to have as many irons in the fire as possible, like I do music, the vlogs, but the ultimate goal is to write and direct
Well,
films.
tell me about your. I know you've got the Copacetic Cowboy, and you've got some
Yeah.
others that are going to be coming out too, correct?
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
vlogs. Yep.
yeah. Um, how would you do your next vlogs differently than you did the Copacetic Cowboy? Copacetic Cowboy had a unique look to it, and that look was unique throughout all 4 episodes.
Hmm.
Did you choose that look those scenes, those camera angles on purpose like that? Was there a reason for it, or is it just how it happened?
Well, I would like to think I've always had an eye for like angles and framing and shots. And it's also, I try to make the best I can do with such a limited time constraint and limited equipment. So I didn't
Mm-hmm.
spend any money on equipment. That was all shot on an iPhone. But the new iPhones can shoot in 4K, and with like a good color grade, you can make it look decent enough. So I just, I don't know. There's many different lives. There's like what it is in my head. There's what I shot, and then there's the edit, which comes in differently. And if you're good enough at all those, I think even with no real equipment or real film experience, you can make something good. So those four I like, and I did what I needed to do, and now I've got a little more time. Like there, I was, working on it, sitting on the side of the road, waiting to get a ride or something like that, or in a train or a bus or a hostel. But now I've got a little bit of quietude here in Hollywood, and I'm gonna continue the Copacetic Cowboy vlog. I still have all this footage from my travels, but I'm gonna do things differently. Like I'm trying to find I'm trying to blend in a little bit of fiction with it. So my idea for the next vlog is to have a cold open that takes place here. So we're moving from different time periods, and I have an actress that I'm talking with who also does OnlyFans, which is funny because everyone does OnlyFans here. And it's just us. It's an open, cold open where I'm just talking to her on the street, and we're old friends. And then she asks like, "Hey, what happened to the videos?" And then it just cuts into the next video. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna try to have it where the Copacetic Cowboy, my adventures from Europe and the Middle East and Africa continue, but it's also coupled with shots of me also trying to navigate Hollywood. So there's a new angle that's being added to it. We'll see how that turns out, or if it ever happens at all.
Yeah, yeah. That would be. You've got all kinds of ways you can go with that. Do you see a change coming in uh sitcom comedy?
Like situational comedies, are we talking specific like laugh track comedies, or more like anything?
In I don't really care. A 30-minute funny sitcom.
um
Situation comedy.
mhm.
Uh frankly, I will tell you, I've got an ear for things, and I
Okay.
can tell you that there somebody at some point in time back in the 50s or 60s recorded great laughter
Mm,
from an audience, and I can tell that that laughter is used so many times. I'm tired of it. It's like
yeah.
what show was it? Oh, you remember over in England they did Midsummer Murders?
No, never heard of that
Oh,
one.
let me tell you that it's still being filmed. It's 24 years and going on, and it's
Oh
90
wow.
minute murder stuff. Some of them's pretty good, but they used a fox screaming at night, and foxes scream. That same fox scream has been used in almost every damn episode. And let me tell you something, I'm sick of it. Then it started showing up on the Murder She Wrote, and it started showing up on these other things. And I said, will somebody please get a new fox sound? And now I
Mm,
feel the same way about laugh tracks. Will somebody please let an audience actually laugh? And I don't know if
oof.
audiences can do that anymore.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen the death of cable and things like that. So people are sort of going away. Like I can't think of especially a laugh track comedy from today that is worth its salt at all, especially in comparison. Now that we have this complete open freedom to watch anything, we're all just kind of going back to the old thing. So I mean, what I would like to see, and this is a wave I hope exists, I'm hoping to ride on, is that we're actually in even outside of situational comedy, we're seeing television sort of adapt to the constructs of film, where we're seeing better shots, better cinematography, longer, more informed, and like more intellectual storylines. I think that could bleed into situational comedy in some way. And because I mean they're going to have to adapt because they're clearly sinking. Hollywood is one of those cities where everyone just hates what they put out, you know, like Snow White. Everything just makes everyone angry. It used to make one side of the aisle angry, but somehow they've managed to piss everyone off. And they're gonna have to adapt, surely, and hopefully I can be a part of that.
Well, I hope you can, and I think it's possible that, given your um, thought processes and how your brain works, that you could very well be a good part of that. You might be the part that comes up with it, and then everybody starts following. Or you could be just the spark, and somebody comes and does it better than you.
No.
You never know. I mean, you just never know. But I can tell you that, okay, I don't have cable. I watch
Mm,
YouTube, I watch Prime, Amazon Prime, and I also have an antenna TV.
no,
Antenna
no.
TV. Do you know that two of those channels on Antenna TV do nothing but play uh, uh, the Saturday Night Live reruns from back in the day when political incorrectness was the order of the day?
Mm,
And these things just run 24/7. And they're not running those if they're not being watched, you know? And I'm sitting there going, okay. And that's that shift that you were talking about earlier. In people's, they're heading back to the real stuff that's based on real human interaction, as opposed to something that's been mandated by an aggrieved group, or a law that the government has put in that says you must do stuff. Well, you don't know what you're going to do then. Uh, it's getting back.
yeah,
Uh,
I feel like we all are in agreement too. It's like, sure, there was this weird, you know, cancel culture, and there was a little bit of a tone policing thing going on, but all those same people, like if you actually have real conversations with people, no matter what political aisle they subscribe to, everyone loves like The Office and things like that. We all agree that these certain shows were super funny, but then we were also simultaneously saying, oh, that could never be made today. Well, it's like, why? It's somebody's perpetuating these things, and I don't get it how we can all simultaneously be like, okay, that's funny, but then we're also hounding each other for saying things that could easily have been in The Office. You know, let's I think we'll get back to that, though. I'm not
yeah,
worried.
yeah. Well, I hope they do. I'm tired of being preached at. I'm just tired of being preached at. And I was getting I didn't even want to watch anything new. What was the point? Because
Hmm.
I would try it, and there would be actors on it that I would like, but out of their mouth would be coming these words that I just felt like at the end that, oh, I've been a bad person and I better, change my ways. And I'm sitting there going,
Hmm.
wait a minute. I ain't watching this crap no more. It's just not happening. So now while I'm doing the podcast and I'm enjoying doing them, uh, I I can tell you right now, as funny as I am, and Z, you have never seen me funny.
Okay.
You have never seen me funny. It doesn't happen from being planned. It is always situational, and
Mm.
I never know it's going to happen. And my God, people around are just going, "You need to go on the stage." I go, "No," because when I try to memorize that or think about it and then repeat it, doesn't work. So I could
Mm.
not be that person that goes on the stage and does that. But my God, when I get rolling in real life, just private, people are just dying.
Hmm.
I find it fun to watch other people who can get on a stage and tell something and it still hold up once they're there telling it and they're not rethinking it in their mind.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, I've been fed the same thing too, where like I feel like I'm good at just riffing when I'm with friends, or there's like it's a palpable energy that you can
It
ride and
is.
stuff.
It
And
is.
I feel like I do rehearse things and I say them over. Like usually what I do is I just am in my room, this room, and I'll just do the just talk like there's an audience there, and then there's a lot of riffage there, so it's like, okay, this is a 3-minute bit, let's turn it to a 5-minute bit, and then after you do it enough, weirdly enough, it's not mechanical because you're still kind of riffing, and every audience is going to be different, respond to different things, and well, I'd like to hope that I can adapt to these situations, and that's the funniest stuff. I think I agree with you, and it's you're just riding this really unique wave that only exists in this airspace in this time, you know.
In that time, for who is there and what is there. That's the my now dead ex-husband. I don't know if I ever told you he died recently.
Oh no.
Yeah, he did. Which actually, him dying was a big favor to me, and
Okay.
that's all I'm going to say about it. But the thing is that we were married for a long time, and he was an extremely funny person, but he couldn't do like what I could do. He could tell a funny joke or make a comment, and it would make people laugh. But there would be times where it would just pour out of me like a ocean wave, and I couldn't stop, didn't know why it was there, didn't know why it needed to come out, and I'm looking around and everybody they're holding their guts, they're screaming, this is in my living room, and I just walked out of the kitchen and then started this thing. That he would say to me later, he'd say, "How do you do that?" I go, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I don't know. And I couldn't repeat it.
Sure.
There's just no way I could repeat it.
Yeah, it's a rolling train, it's a train. It's going to the next stop already. One thing I like to do, and this was my only theory of how to get somewhere in Hollywood. I think using Indeed and LinkedIn, it just doesn't work for the entertainment industry. It's all about who you know.
Yeah.
So what I do is I have a car, but I don't like to drive because I prefer drinking more than driving. And but I bought a bicycle on Facebook Marketplace, and I can ride that 20 beers deep, no problem. So what I do is I ride my bike to different bars, and I don't know anybody there. I go in and I just go up and I find some way to talk to people, and then I just riff. And it's always this kind of beautiful thing where you're navigating what you can't say, because it's LA. I mean, anywhere nowadays you probably are dealing with the same thing, but it's like, you say one thing, you just keep towing the line and see how they responded. Then you go a little further. And it's a fun game. I just play with myself, I guess.
Well, don't you? But this game, wouldn't you really call it practice?
I'm glad you're saying it, not me, because it sounds like lame that this guy's just drinking and going to bars and just like riffing. That's my practice. But I think so. I think
it is. It's practice, and what it is when you go in there, you're picking up on the vibes of who's around you, and when you get in front of an audience, and this has happened to me when I was doing the Atlanta Songwriters Club open mic up at their Red Light Cafe.
Okay, yep.
It has happened to me in the past where somebody would have gotten up to sing their original song, and then I get up and say da da da, or I get up and I'm playing the piano and I'm singing my song. Somebody in the audience will say something, and 10 minutes later, I kid you not, everybody in the audience is either dying laughing or crying and wiping tears away because they're so sad, and I don't remember what I've said. And then I just go, "I'm sorry, I didn't know. Who's next?" And it's the vibe in the room. The audience has a vibe coming at you. And if you are, what's the word? Sensitive.
Yeah,
to
like
the
malleable.
vibes.
Yeah.
Yes, then that will be your guide as to which way to go. And that's what you're doing. You're practicing picking up the vibes and seeing which way it works best and why. You're studying it. Do not discount what you're doing. Okay?
Thank you. Yeah, it's the fun alcoholism, I feel like. I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, I don't even know that it's alcoholism, because it's a concerted choice that you're doing. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's there's a goal there. I'm not just going out to drink. And I have this rule that I did in Europe too, where I would say I hate subscribing to, like, I love the bar atmosphere, but realistically, you're paying for a pint of beer at least like twice what you would at the grocery store. So what I'll do is I'll hit up grocery stores on the side and drink tall boys and stuff like that. There's this bar called Ye Old Rustic Inn, in LA, and they charge $7 for a can of PBR. That's like just a normal can. And at the Smart and Final, which is like a cheap grocery store by my house, I can get 30 for $20. So three beers at the Ye Old Rustic Inn is what I could get 30 for at the Smart and
Yeah.
Final. So what do? I wear overalls and I see how many cans of PBR I can fit on my person, and I ride my bike over there. And on a packed Saturday night, the bartenders don't know what's going on, so I just turn
Right.
over and they see me drinking the PBR. They're like, "Oh, he paid $7 for it." I didn't. I paid
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
for it. But no, I only have one drink max at a bar. I only pay for one drink at a bar max. Usually, people will buy them for me when they think I'm funny.
Well, see, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And it's a fun. I like to challenge myself and play little games. Like when I was hitchhiking out in Europe, I'd be like, okay, we're not gonna eat today, we're not gonna drink today. Everything's just gonna be whatever we can live off of. And I'm not taking advantage of anybody. I'm being completely honest and forthright. But when people just hear your stories, they want to keep you around. So they're like, hey, let me buy you a drink. Or when they're like, oh, hey, you don't have a place to crash tonight, it's pretty cold, why don't you come over and you can stay at our place? And so many, like, I've my faith in humanity is restored, and I hope to like pay back some of that karmic energy, because I've just seen the kindness of all over the world of people who have no idea. They talk to me for 3 minutes and they're like, yeah, you can sleep on my couch. They're not afraid of getting murdered. But I also feel like we can't do that in America. Like, I would never hitchhike in America. I wouldn't invite a non-sexual stranger to my house for an overnight. It's just too risky.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. It is. Uh, Dating has changed.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh
Especially
my gosh.
for people our age, like, everyone's addicted to the app. Luckily, me and my roommate, we're good. We're like, we've never used apps and we'll never use apps. But it's like everyone's so afraid to actually interact with each other. Like the girls, guys suck. Girls suck too, but all in a different way. Like, all these poor girls have been just manipulated by all these men online stuff, so they don't know how to interact with men. And then there are all these guys who are afraid to like hit on women because they don't want to, get put on a website or something like that. It's a weird time, but hopefully we're navigating it. I haven't had any problem. It's just we have all these crutches, these digital crutches, where it's like, hey, you've got all these applications where you can just see all these beautiful women. It's almost like a social network in itself, where you don't even have to. You're just swiping left and right, and it's just a shot of dopamine in its own right. But I think the stuff of life is what I prefer to subscribe to. So that's why I'm
Well,
hitting those
you
bars.
you just talked about the dopamine. The dopamine hit. Uh, I don't think I've ever needed to go on social media. I've done it. I've usually do it for a purpose because I got books to sell,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got my services I want people to know about. Blah blah blah. But this young fellow one time, uh, he was bragging to me. I said, "Well, it's been a while since I've seen you. How you doing?" And he says, "Oh, I'm fine." He says, "Guess what I did last night?" And I said, "I don't know what." And it was one of those apps where you pick somebody just random and y'all just have sex in a car or something like that or whatever. And I said, uh, and he was looking at me like, I bet you've never thought about that before. Well, little does he know, but the point is that I knew who I knew when I got hot and heavy.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't, and he said, "Boy, she liked what I said." Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know if she did or didn't. She may have liked what you gave her, but really, you are so eager just to have somebody say, "Oh, who's a good boy?" That you'll just total strangers that you pick up off of a stupid
Yeah.
phone app.
Yeah,
I
I prefer to have like women I've met in person to call me a good boy. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
That's me, but I feel like those like interactions are so like draining to those are just putting a hole that you're trying to we're all trying to fill a void, but that's just making that void deeper, you know? It's
It
that's
really
not a
is.
real interaction. It's actually sort of harming your ability to have true interactions. It's affecting your trust issues and stuff like that. And that stuff's just making you dislike yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a temporary and fake fix that it doesn't exist. I think
Mm-hmm.
you gotta meet people in different ways. I don't really like meeting people in bars. Like it's fun to more interact and stuff and have fun, get into little shenanigans here and there. Maybe every once in a while you take somebody home, but I think you're gonna meet the love of your life at like a library or a concert or something like that, not a bar. Because there's that specter when you enter a bar. Where like, I would hate to go to a bar on like LSD or something like that because you could just hear everyone's thoughts. Everyone's just thinking like these dark, penetrative, literal thoughts, you know. And I'm like,
You
I
know,
don't.
I bet they're not.
You
I
don't think
bet they're
so?
no. Look, I've had plenty of opportunity going out dancing, where the band was really great and it was real dancing going on, not standing there and going,
Mm-hmm.
but
Sure.
real ballroom dancing or East Coast
Okay.
swing and that sort of thing, which I enjoyed doing. But there came a point I couldn't take it anymore because even the men who could dance well, most of them were drinking, and I kid you not, they all said the same thing.
Yeah.
It was like the alcohol dulled their ability to even come up with an original line.
Oh, see, I just got to be funny. That's my end. I just say something kind of out of pocket, and then I ride that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, listen, I want you to take care of yourself, and
Yeah,
I would love to do this again whenever you're ready. Just let me know. We'll have us another chat and catch up with what's going on.
sure.
Um, but everybody,
Yeah,
full pass
there it
now. Let me
is.
get that light on it. Just there we go. Full pass now with Z Staehling. Oh, you know what I was going to do? Woo, I even
Mm,
marked it. There was the whole book is brilliant, and I can't read it, but there is one part I want to read to you,
okay.
and let's see what you think about it when I read it. It's chapter 19, number 3.
Hmm.
If you'll recall, we had several chapter 19s.
Uh huh.
Um, Dismissal's damnation, a smudge in the ink, the sliding of the type guide, or a carriage lever return. Somewhere there is a man, a god, a writer. He asks himself, is this what I want to be doing? Is this where I want the story to go? Unsure of an answer, the writer steps away and goes for a walk outside, deciding not to take his dog because, while trying to contemplate his own story and what was to become of it, he would instead feel thoughts of the dog, such as, where am I to wee? There are so many spots along this journey of mine, and my best friends. Pine straw is my preferred medium to answer the call, but why is that? Something from my upbringing, I surmise. I am a rescue after all. Not sure what or where I was rescued from, but it's led me to engage in privileged frivolities like where to wee, as opposed to, say, where to eat and what to kill. I don't believe I have the ability to kill. It has been domesticated out of me. One of my earliest memories was when I was a pup and my best friend had just rescued me. He took me to my new home in my new backyard where we played and Dad mowed the lawn. I came to find there was a little wabbit in my backyard. I see the little wabbit. He couldn't have been much older than me. Just a little wabbit was he. Something in me was ignited truly like a flame. It didn't flicker. And
Yeah.
there's more.
God, I'm a psychopath.
No, 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 no. You're a good sociopath.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
you're a sociopath. Psychopath is a whole other thing, and they're never good.
Yeah, they're
So
not cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, they're not cool. No,
Hmm.
not at all. Well, Z, I hope things go well. Keep me informed. Next time you want to do a podcast, just say, Angela, it's time. and we'll schedule it again, and you can fill me in on what's going on. Okay?
All right. Well,
Well,
thank you so much for having me.
oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, you hang on here for just a minute. I'm gonna close this out,
Sure.
and
She treats you right. She surprises